Christina, and I wanted to share with you a little bit about my testimony of doing the prayer and fasting last year. So our family did this together as a group, and each of us chose our own things to decide to fast on. And mine happened to do with food, so I cut out basically sugar, alcohol, gluten, and really tried to eat as clean as I possibly could. I also gave up Facebook for the entire month. And during that time, I had 4 things that I was really seeking the Lord for. One was that my brother would get married or get engaged. One was that my sister-in-law and brother-in-law would either adopt or they would have a baby. And the third one was that I would sleep through the night and sleep through the night consistently. And the fourth one was that the Lord and I would grow together a little bit more spiritually. My brother's was really big because he had gotten divorced a long time ago, and it wasn't something that he wanted. It was his wife basically left him. And so he's been searching for someone for a really long time, and he met this really great woman, and we've been waiting. And then brother and sister-in-law have been really struggling with infertility, and they wanted nothing more than to have a baby, and they've been waiting for years. So those two have been like prayers for over 3 years. The thing with sleep has been an ongoing issue for almost 10 years. I just don't sleep well. I haven't slept well for years. Talked to naturopaths, doctors, supplements, detoxes, you name it. I have done everything and just kind of came to my wit's end of how do I fix this not sleeping, because sleep is a pretty big deal. And then the fourth one was just really wanting to grow in my relationship with the Lord and understanding the Holy Spirit a little bit better. So started the prayer and fast. Everything was going really well. And my father-in-law was going in for heart surgery. And that kind of just changed everything. His surgery did not go well. I was getting a little discouraged, not seeing anything in the other 4 things that I had prayed for. And then, boom, we had heart surgery that was supposed to be pretty successful, turn not successful, and my husband's dad actually ended up passing away. Not anything we as a family expected, and it was really, really hard for us. And during that time, the night that we decided we were going to pull the plug on him, everyone wanted to go out for pizza. And I looked to my husband, and he goes, "What are you going to do?" He's like, "You can't eat pizza." And I just remember saying and looking at him, I go, "What's going on right now? I don't think the Lord is a Lord who would say to me, you have to stick to your fast. You said you couldn't eat gluten or you wouldn't eat gluten." I said, I think the Lord would say to me, go be with your family. Go break bread with them, laugh with them, mourn with them, tell stories with them. And so that's what we did. I went, I had some pizza, I had a sip of soda, and I got to fellowship, and we told stories about my husband's dad. And so I didn't do my full fast. And to this day, I don't regret that. I'm so grateful that I chose to be with family. So that was the prayer and fast. 4 things didn't really get answered. We lost my father-in-law in the process. Our family started to go through a really big grief process as well. So I was like, okay, first time prayer and fasting, not really significant. But now I have a different side to tell about this story. So in April, my brother got engaged to someone that he's been dating for 3 years and that we've wanted him to marry. And they got married in May. So check. That prayer answered. In October, I had sought some prayer after church for sleep because I had been on a week where I had only slept about, I think it was like 8 hours in about 4 or 5 days. And so I was at my wit's end and went for prayer. And after that prayer, I was talking to the person in prayer team through texting, and I said, I don't have the answer, but I think Mike does. And so I asked Mike the next day through a text. I said, will you spend today fasting with me? And he said, sure. The next morning, Mike goes, hey, I read this article, this sports article about somebody who wasn't sleeping and found out it was high histamine foods. And I was like, okay, 2-minute conversation. That's all he said to me. I started researching it and found out that is exactly why I haven't been sleeping for years. And so I immediately switched how I eat. And now I have been sleeping. I have slept for 2 months every night. There's a couple of times that I don't sleep completely through the night, but that is a huge, huge praise. So now we have 2 things checked off, of which I prayed for earlier in the year. And then come November, our sister and brother-in-law visited and announced that she is pregnant naturally, which blew all of our minds. All of our jaws dropped. And we were like, what? Are you sure? And she's like, yes. And so 3 prayers answered. And then the one with me and the Lord, that's an ongoing prayer, really, just seeking him and diving in deeper with him. But I tell you this story because in the beginning of January, I would have said, this prayer and fasting thing, I don't know about this. Like, it was a good discipline. I learned a lot, grew closer with the Lord. But as far as the Lord showing up and really answering, I would have been like, yeah, I didn't really see that. That wasn't my experience. But fast forward, 4 or 5 months later, the Lord has now answered 3 of the things that were on my list. And the 4th one, like I said, is just an ongoing. So if you have any reservations about doing in prayer and fasting, I would say just do it. And come with some intention, come with some focus of what are you seeking for the Lord? And they could be really big things, really unimaginable things. And even if it seems like the Lord is not listening or isn't hearing you, know that he is. That's my story. He has been hearing me. He has been listening. He has known the deep cries of my heart and my family's heart. And he's good. Like, that's the bottom line. He's maybe not in my timing, but God is always good.